was the break?
It was good. Went home, saw my wife and kids. Got to take care of some sick babies, so it was great.
Was it necessary for you also to maybe even get acclimated here in the city?
I mean, I went back home to Newport, so it's good. I'm coming back. I'm settling in. Got a little apartment, so I feel a little more at home.
How do you just kind of look at the task ahead for you guys with the remaining schedule and where you kind of are overall?
Make a run, and make a push. We understand who we have to play and what we have to do. The new group, we're glad that we have this time of the break to try to take advantage of that too. But the league doesn't care about new pieces or new faces, so we have to do our job.
How much did you guys need the time on the practice court together just to work some things out?
It's good, because we were pretty much playing playing on the run those first 3-4 games. So it's good to put in some sets. For me, get to know people's names. It's really good.
How much can you accomplish in just like 1 or 2 practices, though, in that regard?
As much as is necessary. It's not like you're going to get a training camp or a full season of chemistry, but you can get the basic things in, ask questions, and start to get a feel for what guys like.
Zach, you done played against Markelle Fultz in the Eastern Conference. What do you know about this game?
I've known Markelle since he was younger. He went to UW. I'm from Seattle, so I've seen him before. I've worked out with him in the offseason. Great guy, great teammate. He took the flight, actually. His first game was at New Orleans, the last New Orleans game we played, and he was probably the most talkative guy on the bench, telling guys what to do with, defensive coverages and pointing things out. So he's very vocal, and I think we need somebody like that. He's always been one of my favorite guys in the NBA.
Zach, if you don't mind me asking, what were you and DC talking about over there for a bit?
Oh, I don't feel like people give him enough credit for how good of a defender he was. I grew up watching, obviously, Kobe, MJ, and T-Mac, and he got to guard all those guys, Michael and all that. So I just asked him a couple of tips. Obviously, I know what I'm doing offensively, but defensively, I'm like, hey, if you were guarding me, what would you do? So we were just talking about it, shooting the stuff.
He has a tough job managing playing time for so many different guys. There's so much talent on this roster. What's your approach to, there can only be 5 guys on the court at a time, especially in crunch game, late game situations, just I guess taking what he asks or what position he wants you to play, or even taking time on the bench? Like, how do you approach what is needed to be done in those moments?
Yeah, that's his job. Obviously I'm accustomed to playing late game and in the crunch time. That's what I do. But to win games, you got to do whatever's done. I think that's his decision to make, and we all support that as long as we're getting wins.
What did you guys kind of identify as maybe the main focal point of these practices before things kind of resume?
I think just get a set, foundation of what we're looking to do. Obviously, like identity-wise, especially with a couple of new faces, and then just going over some things. Obviously, for us new guys, me, JV, Jay, Markelle, and a couple other guys, like some stuff that we just don't know. Certain concepts on offense, concepts on defense, things, if they like to ice the ball or rotations, things like that. So just little basic things that'll help the team.
Before the break, there's like stretches where you talk about maybe I need to be a little bit more of a playmaker. How much do you anticipate needing to help distribute and set up guys on the team?
Yeah, I mean there's times where I'll have to run the point, and I've done it before. Obviously, I'm more accustomed to playing off the ball, but I played point in the past, and I think those last couple games in New Orleans, I was able to play make a little bit more and figure out how to play off a dome. I see such a good screener and roller. And we have some really good shooters with Keon and Keegan. Where before, I'm used to having to take those shots. So mixing in my offense with my playmaking is something I'm going to have to get used to.
Is that real?
How helpful of a resource is DeMar for you as you try to get acclimated here, and just what is he message to you?
I mean, there's a lot of places you can get traded to. Obviously this is a business and you don't know where you're going, but for me to go somewhere where, with one of my good friends I played with for the last 3 years, I damn near know everything about him. It was pretty easy transition for me, so it was good.
Zach, was that
Couple
real?
more guys.
Strongly considering dunk contest again?
I don't know. I just I wanted to see the fans' reaction. I had a nice little response on X. So you never know, man. But if I did it, when I won the dunk contest those years ago, I was 20. I'm about to be 30, so it's crazy to think that I don't know if I'll be able to recover the same way. You know, I wasn't playing 36 minutes a game either, so we'll see. I just wanted to see the response.
Because of that response, though, I mean, can that have an impact on your decision making?
Yeah, for sure. You know, All-Star games and All-Star weekend is fun. I've been a part of them, you know, since I started in my NBA career. So, and now with kids, I think that's the fun part about it. You never know what can happen, especially if you're trying to do something for them.
Any changes that you would want to see in terms of the All-Star weekend and the events there to make things better?
I mean, look, I think guys are looking for a break during All-Star weekend. There's a lot of accommodations and things that you have to do also when you're an All-Star and you're part of the weekend. You know, I think guys need their rest. So I think if they minimize those things and then made it more about just competing in the game, I think guys would take it more serious.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome to Sacramento.
Yeah, thank you.
What's it just like to have this opportunity?
It's a blessing, you know, somebody that me that, you know, had a journey that I've had. I have a real appreciation to be able to play this game and to be able to have this opportunity. So for me, it's just a blessing to be able to be out here and have the opportunity to hoop.
What's the last year been like for you?
It's been amazing for me, just being able to take time for myself and get my body and mental right and really just get my body good. So for me, that's all it was for me. And now I feel good, and I've been blessed enough to have this opportunity to go hoop.
Zach just talked about how vocal you were right away. Is that something you just felt this team needed, or is that just who you are?
That's just me, something that I've learned to do as a point guard. Also, just coming from Orlando, being with a lot of young guys, you know, I had to just be that voice on the floor, you know, and I feel like communication is one way to help your teammates out and let them know where you're at, and to be able to pick up and just build confidence with your teammates. So it's second nature for me. It's something that I feel like can go anywhere. And I think as long as I continue to do that, I think it's something that's contagious, and I hope that everyone continues to pick that up, and we preach that.
If you don't mind sharing, how did this opportunity come about with Sacramento?
They just came to watch me work out. I mean, of course, they've been in contact with my agent. My agent does a good job of allowing me to just focus on basketball and the things I need to focus on. But like I said, I've been working my tail off all year round to be ready for this opportunity when I felt right. And he's done a great job of keeping teams, you know, ready for me and letting them know that, you know, I've been working and not just sitting around. And when I felt right, you know, they came to watch me work out, and it just happened to work out perfectly.
You haven't played since May 5th.
Yeah.
How difficult is that to get up to speed, to get up to NBA conditioning and all that?
One thing I've learned coming through an ACL injury, you know, I've tried doing everything that you can to get ready to play basketball. There's nothing you can do to get you ready to play basketball other than playing. So obviously they have a great medical team here, and I've been doing everything that I can to put my daily deposits in to get ready. But really, it's nothing but going out there and hooping and just building that endurance up and getting ready. You know, I do a good job of doing everything that I can to get in the best shape that I can without playing, you know, 5-on-5 basketball. But now it's just going to be going out there and playing as hard as I can, and when I need a sub, calling for one.
What's been the transition like coming into this organization for you?
It's been pretty easy. They got a great staff here, great people here that's just been helping me along the way. Again, to make sure that the main thing stays the main thing, and that's just focusing on basketball. So anything that I need help with, you know, the teammates have been really helpful, but also everyone who works in this organization has been really helpful with just making sure I know where to go, make sure I get the things that I need. And for me, that's easy for me because I'm pretty straightforward. You know, I just keep the main thing and just focus on hoop.
Not being on an NBA team this year, what made the right decision for you to just kind of continue working yourself and your people rather than going overseas or going in a different direction like that?
Health is wealth, man. And as we all know, you know, battling with injuries is about being consistent and staying healthy. So for me, there was no reason for me to rush into anything. You know, I feel like for myself, I've already played through injuries. I already played through a lot of things. So I told myself and I told my team that my main focus was just taking care of my body and giving myself the chance to rest and make sure I felt strong and good enough to be able to go out there and give my all. So it wasn't a hard decision for me. It was something that, you know, a decision I made, and I know a lot of people say a lot of things, but I was never worried about that. I knew what I had going on. I knew what I wanted to do, and I executed that, and now I have a chance to go out there and play again.
What do you feel like you provide to this team on the floor?
Just a playmaker, leader, just doing whatever it takes to win. You know, obviously I think my passing and being able to be a point guard and get guys in position and being able to help these guys, you know, make it easier on them. I think that's one thing. And then on the other end of the floor, being able to be a defensive pest and just really getting to the ball and make it tough on that end. You know, I think I bring both edges, and then just a great teammate as well. You know, going to be that guy that's going to do whatever it needs for a teammate. That's grabbing the towels, that's getting the water, that's, you know, picking them up, encouraging them, whatever that is. You know, that's the guy I am.
Does it also help that, you know, that Zach and Doug is from the Seattle area too?
Yeah. It definitely, when you see guys that are familiar faces, and I've been in going into my 8th year, so I've been around the league. I've played against these guys. I've seen these guys enough to know, we got enough respect about each other, and they know I'm a hooper and I know they're a hooper. So being able to come into an atmosphere like that, and you got new guys too as well. So we're all trying to figure it out. But we've been in the league before. This isn't my first trade, so I understand that you're gonna be around a new group of guys, and for me, I feel like I'm pretty easygoing. I come in and just try to do my job, and again, I'm a great teammate as well. So they made it pretty simple, pretty easy.
I'm sorry. What did the break look like for you, given that you're getting ready for a new opportunity here? How much have you been here versus out of town?
I've been here the whole time. I think I went back to home to see my kids Saturday and Sunday, but again, they did a good job of sending people out to work with me, which I was extremely thankful for, knowing that it was great for them as well. So being able to have them there, I have a great appreciation for that. But it's just been working, man. Like I said, for me, you get what you put in. So I've just been working my ass off to get ready for this first game, and I'm super excited again just to be able to step back out on the floor and go play basketball.
And what does that look like, that day-to-day here throughout this
grind, man. Daily deposits, doing whatever we need, a little conditioning, a little bit of weightlifting, a little bit of treatment, just a little bit of everything. I make sure that I do what I need to do to control what I can and control everything I can.
The road that you've had and the experiences that you've had along the way in this journey, does it help you make you that much more hungry this later in life, this later in your career?
Absolutely. I'm 26, so I'm still young. I know I got a long time to play. And again, I think that, most people wouldn't do what I did, and be able to take that chance to just take your time and get healthy. But that's one thing I learned going through the injuries that I went through early in my life is that, my health is my wealth. So for me, it wasn't a hard decision for me. I think for me it was just about making sure that my body was right and I was able to move the way I wanted to move. And like I said, now that I had that chance, whatever opportunity that I had at that time, and it happened to be Sacramento, and I'm extremely thankful.
Saw you working with Coach Triano. What do you make of the offense, and how quickly are you picking everything up?
Oh, they make it pretty simple. It's basketball at the end of the day, but you want to know the terminologies. You want to be able to learn your teammates and know where they're best at. So for me, it's just about, again, putting those extra work in to be able to know the plays, to be able to, especially in my position, be able to put guys in their position and be able to understand the terminology.
What did you make of the opportunity, not just because this team needs more point guard and ball handling, but a team that's in the midst of a really tense playoff race here in the West? How much did that excite you, joining the team that's ready for you to hit the ground running?
Super excited. You always want to play playoff basketball and win in basketball. So for me, being able to have the opportunity where they need a point guard and seeing that I can, hopefully help them in that role, but also play meaningful basketball. That's all you dream of being a hooper growing up and wanting to be a very effective basketball player. So it's a perfect opportunity, but we got to take it one game at a time and just focus on that.
You told me last week that your shot and your health were better than they've been since you got into the league. Like, now that you've kind of been on this for a week here with them, like, how are you feeling physically, and how's the shot feeling and looking?
Amazing. Again, it's about daily deposits. Some days are going to be better than others, but again, being able to shoot the way I want to shoot, I know that some days are going to be better than others, but I know I'm capable of doing it. Now it's just about coming in, putting my reps in, and continue to get better each and every day.
Anything else?
Thanks, Markelle.
Thank y'all.
What does here mean for your group as you're trying to, integrate all these new players?
It's huge. I mean, there's a lot of little things that only a training camp can help, but we smashed it all together and tried to give up as much information as humanly possible, but at the same time keeping it as simplistic as possible.
How many practice sessions did you guys get?
Well, we got the one today. Yesterday we got together, but it was more mental, and it wasn't like what you guys witnessed today.
What's going to be the biggest area of focus before things kind of resume here?
Always defense, my friend. But at the same time, you got to smooth out the edges, and turnovers not good, bad starts not good. A lot of those are coming from trying to do the right thing, and so I'm totally understandable. But the one thing, as you guys know me, is defense. It has to happen. So I don't know how it happens, as Rick Adelman used to say, it's that it happens.
Yeah. Is it still too early to figure out maybe what type of role somebody like Markelle Fultz plays for you guys?
We got hoopers, man. He's a hooper. What that means in the big scheme of things, until you put it in the gumbo, you don't know how it tastes. Yeah.
How's it
you're
look
the
to you?
different-
What are your impressions just of what you've seen so far?
I really like what I see out of him. Long, athletic. I mean, I've watched him since he was in Washington, obviously being from Seattle, so I know what he brings to the game. What he brings to the game with the mixture of the guys we have is probably the question mark. But defensively, long and rangy, has the ability to see the floor at a high level and make a lot of passes. And then his ability to score, not like a shooter scoring, but he got to his mid-range, hit a three, drove all the way to the basket after Valanciunas just killed the whole lane, so it looked good.
Doug,
Well,
you've been
you know,
talking
when
about
you were-
defense a lot. Just how is it that you have players who aren't known as defensive players? How do you scheme your way around some of the deficiencies that you might have?
Because defense is an individual. We don't play individual sport. Defense is a collective. We play a team sport. So even on our squad, we didn't have necessarily a whole bunch of individual defenders, but collectively, the ability to communicate at a high level, the ability to do early work, to be handsy and physical and pull the trigger and make sure that we're making very decisive decisions. Like we pull the trigger and it happens, and from there everybody responds, as opposed to always being reactive and getting hit first. I'm not a get hit first guy.
You said you had a discussion with the team yesterday. Was that anything as, how to approach these last 27 games, knowing what type of position that you're in the Western Conference?
Yeah, one at a time. One at a time. One quarter, one possession. Everything is one. We just got together as one possession at a time. And if at the end of that we have won the possessions, then we should be in a good spot.
So I know you said earlier in the year that you brought the team together to do an escape room.
Mhm.
Now, with a new group like this, with new personalities, just how is everyone meshing together, and how do you kind of bring the group together?
Like I was talking to Dip this morning, and I was using the example of Hito Turkoglu. And when Hito came here, he wasn't like English-wise, wasn't like great. But as soon as we hit the floor with the basketball, I totally understood what he was saying. And that's what we're trying to get is we need to get out there and we just gotta work together. And once we do that, the language of basketball speaks more volumes than anything else.
We've talked before about how difficult the job can be finding the playing time for everybody with how talented this roster is. From just the short time with these guys, how do you feel they've responded to when their number is called versus isn't called, guys that feel they could be on the floor, not being on the floor to close a game, for example?
I mean, it's always going to be a problem. It's an age-long problem that we haven't always had here, to be honest with you. We have credit to the front office and everybody there that they did a good job of bringing in talent. The bottom line is we win the game. I don't care how it happens. And hopefully everyone is on the same page with that. And I think not only on the same page, same paragraph, same sentence, in same word. And we will see, because the competition starts tomorrow.
You guys have had, so many changes over the past 2 months, really. To get into the break, did it come at a good time? Do you have to utilize that time maybe differently than other teams do to kind of get guys acclimated, and just maybe how you felt you guys came into the break?
I don't know, S, about that one. If you're in the water and you need a breath, is there really a good time to get it when you get it when you can? So was happy for the break. I didn't really take a break. I watched a lot of video and just trying to make sure that I'm being the best person in this position that I can possibly be, and make sure that I'm prepared for them, and make sure that they are feeling and understand what I would like. But I hope that they got some rest, and seeing the tans and different things, I think they probably did. I just walked my dog.
2 seasons ago, this team came out of the All-Star break red hot to help kind of secure that playoff spot. You were in a different, obviously, position at that point, but what do you remember from that and implementing those lessons to starting this quote-unquote second half?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I could relate back to when we came out of the break. It's like, this is basketball, man. It's not like brain surgery. We have to come out. We have to play good basketball. And most times in these positions, it's the team that finds their stride at this time. And that might have been a team that wasn't playing good early in the season. And all of a sudden, all the pundits say, wow, they're playing great. Well, no, they're playing together. They're playing at a high level. Maybe they don't have many injuries. Maybe somebody gets hot, whatever that is. But it's basketball. And the thing is, we want to play, first and foremost, a really good brand of basketball for our fans. And then we're playing for the brother beside us, and we're going to play hard as hell. And if we do that, we give ourselves a chance to win. And that's really all that you can ask for in this league. And I won't accept anything less, so that's where we're at. Yeah.
Last one. In the couple games leading up to the break, it seemed like DeMar kind of filled that De'Aaron substitution pattern. How much do you expect to lean on him in that second unit as a little bit of a point guard, and what have you seen as his capabilities as a passer?
DeMar is just a hell of a basketball player. I'm a little bit more not necessarily traditional point guard, that. Like, you are a basketball player. We put him in positions for him to make plays. He makes plays. We put him in position to make buckets. He makes buckets. And that's just a credit to him as a craftsman and how he goes about his business on a day-to-day basis. So the rotations and all those things, it's going to be whatever it takes to win the ball game. Some nights it may be this way, some nights it might be that way, some nights you play a lot, some nights you don't play as much, but hopefully on the left side of the ledger it's a W for the Kings. That's really all that counts.
Thanks everyone.
Appreciate you guys.
That's a good look. Playoff 2.
Yeah.